Hello, this is Knowledge Hunter, not just a YouTube channel, but a place where you get lucid explanations to intricate questions of history. Now, in this video, we are going to discuss the first topic of the series, that is, why did Portuguese come to India, and the series name is Advent of Europeans in India. This video will cover lots of topics about Portuguese. For example, why did Portuguese come to India? How they transformed from traders to rulers, and what was their scheme for administrative policy? What were the causes of decline of Portuguese in India? And much more to great depths. All you have to do is to give 15 minutes of undivided attention to this video. Now, so the first question that comes into our mind is that why did Portuguese come to India? So this has got several reasons. We will discuss them one by one. So the first reason that I would like to tell you is that in 16th century Europe and in the 15th century Europe, there was a sudden increase in demand of luxury goods. Why there was a sudden increase in demand of luxury goods? The answer being that the Europeans witnessed an increase in purchasing power, a crave for better lifestyle and prosperity. India was the source of supplier of all type of ornamental goods, all type of luxury goods. Now this was the first reason. The second reason being that there was an increased supply of meat in Europe. And you also know that to preserve meat for a longer period of time, we need spices. So at that time, India was the abundant supplier and the most cheap supplier of spices across the world. Now, so the Europeans and the Portuguese even wanted to trade with India. This was also aided by the fact that in 16th century Europe, there was a new trend that was being followed by almost every European nation. The new trend was to explore unknown sea routes all across the globe. So this was the new trend. So this also led to exploration of new countries, new lands, new sea routes and all that stuff. The most important reason being that was that the end of the Roman Empire by the 7th century AD and the rise of Arabs in the region of Persia, Egypt, Afghanistan, today's Iran, Iraq, Red Sea region, which was the main land route through which Europeans contacted India for trade, was now occupied by Arab. And Arab charged a lot of duties and taxes on the European trade, making the European trade 10 times more expensive than it was earlier. So it was very inevitable, or it was very important for the Portuguese to find an immediate direct sea route to India. So this was also a big motivation for Portuguese to search a trade route to India. Now I'm talking about how they explored India and how they came to India, established their settlements. So basically in 1497, a treaty was signed between Spain and Portugal. The name of the treaty was Treaty of Tordesillas, under which Spain was to occupy the territories to the west of Cape Verde Island and Portuguese were to occupy the territories to the east of Cape Verde Island, as shown in the map there. Now, what was happening here is Spain went to occupy the Americas, Portuguese went to occupy the India, Indonesia, Java, Sumatra and all that stuff. So Portuguese came to India, right? So in 1498, a Portuguese sailor, Vasco da Gama, came to India in Calicut in southern India. He was welcomed by the local ruler Jamorin. This was disliked by most of the Arab traders as Arabs used to see the Portuguese as their competitors. Now in 1500 AD, I would rather say, another Portuguese sailor, Pedro Alvarez Cabral, went to India, or came to India and established a factory at Calicut. This was his main achievement. Now after 1 year, in 1501, Vasco da Gama revisited India, and the second visit of Vasco da Gama saw the establishment of two new factories at Cochin and Cananor. So now the Portuguese had 3 trading centers or factory sites. They were namely Cochin, Cananor and Calicut. And in the name of protecting their trading interest, the Portuguese traders also started to fortify these factories. Later on, after having sufficient establishments in India, the Portugal emperor, he started to appoint governors in succession. He appointed governors for a term of 3 years. The first governor he appointed was in 1505 and his name was Francisco de Almeida. Francisco followed a policy of blue water, or he followed a blue water policy under which he had to conquer the Indian Ocean and also defeat all the trading rivals in India and that of Persia, and stop the Arab traders to trade with India. So what he did was he defeated Egyptians and local trading rulers in a single navy battle only. Okay, so this was all about the Francisco de Almeida. Now in 1509, after 4 years, another governor was appointed and his name was Alfonso de Albequereqe. Under the governance of Alfonso, the Portugal power saw the peak of its power in India. Alfonso occupied or captured Goa from Sultan of Bijapur and annexed large parts of Vijayanagar Empire to his kingdom. And he also occupied important sea trade routes of Malacca and Red Sea, through which Arabs used to trade, and now they could not trade as these sea routes were under the occupation of Portuguese. They also imposed a pass system in these sea trade route areas, giving passes to only Portuguese friendly ships. Now this was the system, and Alfonso also encouraged his men to marry Indian wives, or I should rather say Indian women rather than European women, so that a constant Portuguese population could be maintained in India. Basically, this was an attempt to boom Portugal population. The third Portuguese governor was appointed in 1529 and his name was Nino da Cunha. You know about Nino da Cunha. What he did was he shifted the headquarters of the Portuguese establishments from Cochin to Goa, and under his governance only, Portuguese were able to acquire two important islands, that of Basin and Diu. And these islands were not acquired by waging war or something like that. They were given to the Portuguese as a gift by Bahadur Shah, the ruler of Gujarat, in return for their help to fight the Mughal emperor of that time, Humayun. Right? This was all about the governor. Now we talk about the administrative policies of the Portuguese. So the head of the administration of Portuguese was the viceroy. He used to serve with the help of his council for 3 years. Now another official position was created in Portuguese establishments, and that was Vedor da Fazenda, who had the charge of ships and revenue collection in the occupied territories. Now another official position was that of captain, who was having the charge of the forts. Right? Now this was all about the administration. Now let's talk about the religious policy. The religious policy of the Portuguese was never good. They were highly intolerable towards Muslims and later Hindus as well. They did not like the Muslim religion Islam. They did not like the Hindu religion Hinduism. What they liked was their own religion and that of Christianity. They wanted to always disseminate the principles of Christianity, and they also forcibly converted many Hindus and Muslims to that of Christianity. They even tried to convert the religion of Mughal emperor of that time, Akbar. However, they were not successful at it. So this was all about the religious policy of Portuguese. So they also came here to spread the idea of Christianity. Now we're talking about what were the basic causes of the decline of the Portuguese. The major reason was that the local advantages that Portuguese had gained in India, just because they came in India first, and the monopoly they had gained in India was no more existing because of the rise of local dynasties, or I should say powerful dynasties in Egypt, Persia, and that of neighboring Marathas. So Marathas, in an instant, as I remember, they occupied they captured the two islands of Basin and Salsette from the Portuguese in 1739. So reducing the territories of the Portuguese in India. The second reason was that the knowledge of sea route to India was no more mystery. Everybody knew that now. All the European companies, all the European nations found a direct sea route to India, and they came here, they established their own settlements, started trading, giving a tough competition to Portuguese in terms of trading. So Portuguese had to face competition now as well. There was no more a monopoly for Portuguese. The third fact was that they were, kind of cheating behavior they possessed. They were having dishonest trade practices full of piracy. They used to rob the foreign ships, or they used to rob the anti-Portuguese ships they had a lot of arrogance in them. They were always violent with other ships or other local rulers. So this was all disliked by Mughal emperor or the mighty Mughals, and as well as the local rulers of that area. So this was all disliked. They were never liked. And the intolerable religious policy that Portuguese had and followed was also disliked by most of Hindus and Muslims, because they were anti-Muslim and anti-Hindu. You also know that. I just discussed it a little before. So this was all about that. And the most important fact that I would like to tell you is that the discovery of Brazil in South America, tempted the Portuguese to go there for their colonizing and trading activities and leave India rather, because they were not benefiting from India due to the rise of local European powers there, new European companies there. So they wanted to establish themselves in Brazil so that they can get a colony for them and start trading and benefiting themselves for all that stuff. So this was all about why the Portuguese declined in India, or their trade declined in India as a trading company. So this was all about Portuguese. This was all for this video. Now if you like this video, please support us by subscribing to this channel, and don't forget to like and share this video if you liked it really very much. Thank you for watching, and never forget, you are a titan.